You're watching the news on Bahrain International. I'm Mohammed Shaban. Good evening. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa sent a cable of condolences to the Emir of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, following the passing of Sheikh Mohammed bin Hamad bin Abdullah bin Jassim Al Thani. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa sent a cable of condolences to His Highness the Father Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, following the passing of Sheikh Mohammed bin Hamad bin Abdullah bin Jassim Al Thani. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa sent a cable of congratulations to Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, marking his country's July revolution. His Majesty the King expressed deepest congratulations and good wishes to President al-Sisi, wishing Egypt and its people further progress and prosperity under his leadership. His Majesty King Hamad praised the deep-rooted, solid bilateral relations, stressing keenness to continue strengthening joint ties. His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, sent a cable of condolences to the Emir of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, following the passing of Sheikh Mohammed bin Hamad bin Abdullah bin Jassim Al Thani. His Royal Highness sent two similar cables to the Deputy Emir of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Thani, and the Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Qatar, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdurrahman bin Jassim Al Thani. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister sent a cable of condolences to His Highness the Father Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, following the passing of Sheikh Mohammed bin Hamad bin Abdullah bin Jassim Al Thani. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa sent a congratulatory cable to the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, on the anniversary of Revolution Day. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister sent a similar cable to the Prime Minister of Egypt, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, and the Secretary of State, Antony J. Blinken, met at the culmination of the third annual meeting of the U.S.-Bahrain Strategic Dialogue. The Strategic Dialogue operationalizes the enduring commitment the United States and the Kingdom of Bahrain have to bilateral and regional security, shared economic prosperity, people-to-people ties, and the principles upholding the international order. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, met in Washington with the advisor to the U.S. State Department for Regional Integration, Ambassador Danielle Shapiro. They discussed the path of the historical friendship between the two friendly countries and their development and growth at all levels and ways to enhance bilateral cooperation in order to achieve common aspirations and interests. Aspects of joint cooperation were also discussed to support efforts to establish peace and stability in the Middle East region and to adopt initiatives that would advance the process of development and prosperity for the benefit and interest of all people of the region, in addition to issues of common concern. The meeting was attended by the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Bahrain in Washington, Sheikh Abdullah bin Rashid Al Khalifa, the Undersecretary for Political Affairs, Dr. Sheikh Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, Head of the Americas Affairs Sector, Ambassador Sheikh Abdullah bin Ali Al Khalifa, and the delegation accompanying the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, also met in Washington with members of the American Committee on International Religious Freedom, namely Eric Yoland, Nori Turkle, and Stephen Schneck. During the meeting, they discussed aspects of joint cooperation between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the American Committee in the field of consecrating freedoms of religions in the world, benefiting from the capabilities of the two friendly countries in promoting the values and principles advocated by religions and beliefs, and perpetuating tolerance and human coexistence for the good and benefit of humanity. They also discussed opportunities to enhance enhance bilateral cooperation in the field of religious freedoms in order to achieve common aspirations and interests, contribute to the rejection of sectarianism, intolerance and hatred, and deepen the values of love and brotherhood among people. The meeting was attended by the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Bahrain in Washington, Sheikh Abdullah bin Rashid Al Khalifa, head of the Americas Affairs Sector, Ambassador Sheikh Abdullah bin Ali Al Khalifa, and the delegation accompanying the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, met in Washington with Special Envoy at the U.S. State Department to Monitor and Combat Anti-Semitism, Ambassador Deborah Lipstadt. During the meeting, they discussed aspects of joint cooperation between the two friendly countries in the field of promoting the values of tolerance and human coexistence between different religions, beliefs and cultures, confronting the ideology of fanaticism, extremism and hatred, spreading the culture of dialogue, pluralism and fraternity, and supporting efforts aimed at spreading peace and security and ending conflicts in the region. They also discussed prospects of enhancing regional cooperation to achieve peace, stability and prosperity for the benefit of all the people of the region, in addition to issues of common interest. The meeting was attended by Ambassador of the Kingdom of Bahrain in Washington, Sheikh Abdullah bin Rashid Al Khalifa, Under Secretary for Political Affairs, Dr. Sheikh Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, Head of the Americas Affairs Sector, Ambassador Sheikh Abdullah bin Ali Al Khalifa, and the delegation accompanying the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Minister of Municipal Affairs and Agriculture, Engineer Wa'il bin Nasser Lambara, confirmed the approval of 153 recommendations and decisions of the Capital Municipality Council and other municipal councils during the first session of the 6th municipal session, praising the work of the councils during the first term. The minister indicated that the most prominent recommendations and decisions were in the field of urban planning, design and maintenance of roads, and proposals for municipal regulations and decisions, public services and utilities, which reflect their priorities in the implementation of programs, projects and regulatory decisions for the benefit of citizens and residents. He said that the ministry sought to provide all capabilities and resources to support the municipal councils in a way that contributes to providing the best services to citizens and residents and strengthening the role of these institutions, stressing that the ministry continues to support the municipal councils and enhance their role. The Minister of Social Development and Chairman of the National Committee for the Elderly, Osama bin Ahmed Khalaf Al Asfour, chaired the third meeting of the committee during the current year in the presence of members representing government and private agencies. The Minister of Social Development stressed the need of continuing to improve and develop services provided to senior citizens in the Kingdom of Bahrain in close cooperation with partners from all sectors in a way that contributes to their involvement and integration into society. He stressed the continuation of the achievements made for them and the enhancement of their quality of life, adding at the same time the importance of achieving sustainability for the committee's activities in coordination with private institutions and civil society organizations to implement many initiatives in support of them. The Minister of Sustainable Development, Noor bint Ali Al Khleif, presented Bahrain's second voluntary national review on the progress in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals at the United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development 2023, titled Accelerating the Recovery from the Coronavirus Disease COVID-19 and the Full Implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development at All Levels. In her speech, Al Khleif affirmed the commitment of the Kingdom of Bahrain to achieving sustainability across all fields, in line with the approach and vision of His Majesty the King and the follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. She pointed out the approach followed by Bahrain in combating the coronavirus pandemic, which reinstated the competence of its government and institutions in confronting and dealing with challenges, as well as the strategic partnership between the public and private sectors and the efforts of over 50,000 volunteers as part of Team Bahrain. She highlighted that Bahrain's integrative approach drew the world's attention and received wide international praise, which was reflected in the case study reported by the World Health Organization, which documented Bahrain's response to the pandemic and its success in overcoming a number of challenges, in addition to launching a huge financial and economic package worth over $12 billion to deal with the pandemic and its repercussions. The minister stressed the commitment of the government of Bahrain to accelerate the pace of adoption and integrating of the 2030 Agenda and its different development projects and policies through the launch of the Economic Recovery Plan, the commitment to achieving net carbon emissions alongside the significant alignment of the Government Plan 2023-2026 with these objectives. The Assistant Undersecretary for Construction and Maintenance Projects at the Ministry of Works, Maryam Abdullah Amin, has said that the ministry has started the rehabilitation works of 4 schools as part of the Rehab and Maintenance of Historic School program. The Assistant Undersecretary for Building and Maintenance Projects at the ministry explained that the Historic Schools Maintenance Project comes in cooperation with the Ministry of Education and the Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities, which aims to rehabilitate those schools to continue providing support to the educational process in the Kingdom of Bahrain and maintain their historical heritage. The maintenance of these historic schools includes architectural, civil, structural, mechanical and electrical works in order to restore the buildings to their operational capacity and original character and extend the lifespan of these buildings. The President of the Korean Republic, Yoon Suk-yeol, received the credentials of Dr. Mohammed Ghassan Mohammed Adnan Sheikho as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Kingdom of Bahrain to the Republic of Korea, based in Beijing. Ambassador Sheikho conveyed to the President the greetings of His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and their wishes for continued health and wellness for his country and its friendly people, further development and prosperity. He affirmed the keenness of the Kingdom of Bahrain to develop bilateral relations for all that is good and development for the two friendly countries and people. For his part, President Yoon Suk-yeol asked the ambassador to convey greetings and best wishes to His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, wishing the ambassador every success in his diplomatic duties. During the meeting, a number of issues of common interest were reviewed. UAE President His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan spoke by telephone to Louis Abinader, the President of the Dominican Republic. Emirates News Agency reported that the two leaders discussed relations between the UAE and the Dominican Republic and explored opportunities to further enhance collaboration for the benefit of both countries and their people. They also exchanged views on a number of regional and international developments and reiterated their shared interest in promoting stability and cooperation to enable sustainable global growth. Secretary General of the Gulf Cooperation Council, Jassim Al-Badawi, praised the efforts exerted by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations to achieve food security and eradicate hunger. This came during his meeting with Director General of the FAO, Dr. Ku Dongyu, at the organization's headquarters in Rome. During the meeting, the Secretary General stated that several topics were discussed to enhance cooperation between both organizations in the field of food to maintain food security, adding that the meeting witnessed discussions on the Memorandum of Understanding signed in 1986 between the General Secretariat of the GCC and the FAO in order to make it compatible with the developments witnessed by the international community in this field. The GCC Secretary General emphasized that food security is a top priority for the Council and that Their Majesties and Highnesses, the leaders of the GCC states, are deeply committed to the issue. The UN's World Food Programme announced in a statement that one of its staff members has been killed by unidentified gunmen in an attack in Taiz province in southern Yemen. The statement pointed that the UN Food Agency staff member had earlier arrived in Yemen to assume the position of head of the World Food Programme office in Taiz. According to Yemeni media, quoting private sources, the perpetrator of the shooting incident is one of the most wanted terrorist elements in Aden. Saudi Aramco, one of the world's leading integrated energy and chemical companies, has successfully closed a landmark transaction to acquire a 10% interest in Rongshing Petrochemical Co. Limited for $3.4 billion through its subsidiary Aramco Overseas Company BV, based in the Netherlands. The acquisition follows the signing of definitive strategic agreements by both parties announced on March the 27th that represents the continued growth of Aramco's downstream presence in China and includes the supply of 480,000 barrels per day of Arabian crude to the largest Chinese integrated refining and chemicals complex, which is owned by Rongshing affiliate Zhejiang Petroleum and Chemical Co. Limited.